They were from Detroit. We're the old English team. The craziness of the small, again, of serendipitous, or things just working out with a higher power at work. So Rodney points out a brother wearing the old English decap.
Right.
It's him with one of his sister and another homie with another sister. And I introduced myself. You know, like they live in 7 Mile of St. Man, 2 miles from us. Yeah.
And they had just got this guys that slides over on it.
That is the timer for the clock. I mean, for the camera right there.
That camera?
Yeah.
So we'll cut.
Okay. He said we can continue. So yeah, man. That was crazy.
We're about to be interrupted. See, here we go. Then they call that man. He like Simon LeGroux, or Simon Legree. He a taskmaster. You know, there are books about people like you, Rodney, always whipping a brother, just steady whipping a brother. You know, I bet you didn't even let brothers off on Sunday on your plantation. Because you just hard, man. Just hard on brothers, man. You need to cut that out, man. Anyway, back to Africa, man. We's free now, man. You can't keep treating me so. I love him to death, man. That nigga there, man.
But yeah, Courtney, back to the Elmina dungeon. Right?
Yes.
Because that's significant.
Yes, it's a huge thing.
That's very significant. What an experience, bro. And I appreciate you I know I've told you 1,000 times, but you know, you were an exceptional guide. Although you did lay your drill sergeant down on us, but man, it was probably, besides that date when I decided to change my life, when I listened to that voice, this is probably 1B, right? 1A and 1B. This was probably the second best decision that I had ever made. It's hands down the best experience, right? Like immediately the experience just started to engulf me, right? And on that trip, man, a few things that I learned. Did you want to know?
Yeah, please.
Absolutely.
A few things that I learned. I learned some surface information that might not mean much to other people, right? But I also learned some substantial information, right? Some very substantial information. And I don't know if your audience knows how much of a historian you are.
A little bit. I mean, I don't know if they know the in-depth.
Yeah.
Despite of my daddy being one of the trap gods, obviously, and masters of capping up the jive.
Masters of Capping.
And what people don't know, and I got that, from my dad. Like, my father used to sit me down, and that was one of the things, besides counting money from his collections working for Eddie as a kid, we used to watch lots of documentaries, all kind of historical documentaries, right? So obviously his nickname is the Field Marshal.
Yeah.
And that came from Eddie always watching him watch these World War II documentaries. And Pop would be watching so many of these World War II documentaries. Eddie started hearing about this German general named Erwin Rommel, who was called the Field Marshal. And Pop was always watching this stuff. And Eddie started calling. Yes, Eddie, you my field marshal, you understand? He's a desert fox and all of that kind of thing. So my father is an avid historian. So yeah. And then I personally became, after school and after the streets, I really became enthralled with our own particular history.
Well,
So
I'll just tell your audience for you. This dude is well versed. I teach at a university, and I don't think it would be a reach to say that Courtney Brown Jr. is as much of a historian as any of my colleagues. And I've told you on many occasions you need to be in somebody's university, right? I've told you that. But we would be on one of the yards of the slave dungeons, particularly Elmina is on my mind right now, and we had a guide, right? It was a guide that's facilitating as he's taking us around the different dungeons and up in the quarters, and he's telling us about these graves that's in the middle of the yard, right? And then, but from time to time, Courtney would just fold his arms and rub his chin, and he would chime in, right? And when he chimed in, it was typically, it wasn't showing the guy up, but it was playing off of what the guy was saying. It was like confirming, right? What the guy was saying.
Exactly what he was talking about.
At that time, I didn't know how much of a historian Courtney was. But some of the things that I've learned, man, on the surface was, y'all gonna find this funny. I always got mad at the African cab drivers in America, right? Because it drives so damn crazy. But when we got to Ghana and Senegal, one of our drivers, Dilly.
Shout out to Gilly, our personal driver there. You know.
I clearly understand why the African cab drivers drive the way they drive.
What's that series with Vin Diesel and Ludacris and them? That
Fast and the Furious.
okay, Gilly has been robbed of his glory.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be in the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But on a deeper level, man,
Brother Scooby over there in the castle.
you know, goodness gracious, man. So the facilitator tells this story of this African guy that's buried in the yard of the Elmina slave dungeons, right? And he tells the story of how the colonizers gave him what he called a proper burial, right? And the reason being, Lou, was because this guy was so loyal to the colonizers. He was going into the villages and luring people back to their captor, right? And his loyalty ran so deep that he even sold his own family into slavery. Whoa, right? So typically the disease, the famine, that plagued some of the Africans who were captured and waiting in those dungeons, forced to wait in those dungeons for the ships to come back. If they caught a disease and died, they would just toss them in the ocean, right? And this is why they said they gave that guy a proper burial. But let me take you one deeper. And so I came to realize, I said, damn, well, we have people here who are the descendants of some of the most persevering people that we know, that's known to man, right? But amongst us as well, we have descendants of that guy, right? Who's buried on the yard that betrayed his people, right?
And do we not see both?
We see both.
The indomitable spirit and the treacherous traitors still exist among us, right?
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
But you know, on that, and we wrap this up.
Yeah.
There are, if like I had an unlimited budget and somebody said you got 3 weeks to teach your people and give them some understanding of how they got here and what's going on. And every African American who can afford to do this should do this. Go to Montgomery, Alabama. Go to the Lynching Museum.
Yeah.
Which is right next door to the Equal Justice Museum. Both will give you some pause. Go to the Smithsonian Historical Museum. And you can go to, Elmina would be preferred, but whether it's Elmina, Goree Island, Cape Coast, go to one of the doors of no return.
Yeah.
And if an African American experiences those things, you get some reality of what time it really is. The world and the world and the media and all these things will no longer be able to keep you confused.
Yeah. And I'll just add, and that's a great point, because not many people know that there are multiple doors of no return. Correct. Right? So that's a great point. I would echo that sentiment, Courtney.
All right. What's the plan? Besides, I'm gonna do the spoiler. We're going back to the continent. We're working on talking about buying some businesses over there, buying some land over there. We got to inspire the people, you know.
Yeah. We've already purchased our tickets.
Oh no, I mean, it's happening.
So we're gonna be there.
We were today. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's right.
we
You got up today.